Question number 9, Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you. Kia ora koutou te whare. My question is to the Minister of Social Development and asks, how much money has her government spent developing and testing the predictive risk model that was announced in 2012 to identify children at risk of harm and abuse, and in what year will it be rolled out?
The Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker.
Tēnā koe.
On behalf of the Minister of Social Development, the Government's 2012 White Paper for Vulnerable Children identified predictive modelling as a potential tool to identify children most at risk of abuse and neglect. As a result, the Government has asked agencies to look at the feasibilities and the ethics of predictive modelling to identify children at a risk of harm. I'm advised that the cost of this work since the release of the 2012 White Paper has been $342,394, and this includes all feasibility studies, ethic reports and the work of MSD, which has been contracted externally. As a result of this work, a proposal was put forward with options to test predictive modelling, and the Minister declined to proceed with the observational study, but the work undertaken so far will be used to advance the study using historical data, and it will start later this year.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Supplementary to the Minister. Was Paula Bennett, as her predecessor, briefed on the planned trials of the risk predictor model, and was it her that gave officials the green light?
The Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. On behalf of the Minister of Social Development, I'm afraid I don't have that information with me here today, but the Minister would be very happy to answer that question if you put it in writing.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Who could have told officials to go ahead if it wasn't Paula Bennett, when it clearly wasn't her, given her notes show that she asked officials to, quote, stop phase 2 planning immediately and talk to me, exclamation mark, end quote.
The Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker.
Tēnā koe.
Well, the Government is absolutely committed and has a strong effort and investment to improve the lives of vulnerable children. So we are doing everything we can to make sure that we can put that work forward. For example, the Children's Action Plan with 30 initiatives, the Vulnerable Children's Act, the 4 children's teams, stronger child protection with memorandums for understanding, tougher sentences on crimes against children, and extra payment for grandparents. Well done.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Does she agree with Paula Bennett pursuing the risk predictor model when an OAA shows in contrast that she rejected trialling it and hand-wrote on the policy papers, quote, not on my watch, these are children, not lab rats, end quote.
Ouch. The Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. The Minister obviously does not want to support the observation group, but the Minister is supporting predictive modelling because there is merit in identifying the future use of abuse. And I don't think this undermines the value of the model, and we'll be trialling it using historical data.
Nice.
Supplementary question, Jacinda Ardern.
Who did then agree to the observational trials as part of the risk predictive model?
The Honourable Nikki Wagner.
Tēnā koe, Mr Speaker. On behalf of the Minister of Social Development, I'm afraid I don't have that information, but you can put that in writing to the Minister.
Question number 10, Mark Mitchell.
Thank you, Mr